There are an increasing number of power of sale opportunities in the Peterborough and Kawartha Lakes area. Today, I'm going to break down the 3 things that you need to know before you purchase a power of sale in Ontario. But before we get into that, all I want to say is that I appreciate you watching this video. If you learned something new today, all I ask that you hit the like and subscribe button down below. And if you're interested in booking a call with me, please click the first link in the description. All right, let's hop into it. So a power of sale is when a lender takes control of a property under the mortgage and lists that property for sale. This is because the previous homeowner or borrower did not meet the terms of that mortgage. Generally, it's when that homeowner fails to make mortgage payments. Now, a common misconception is that all power of sales are incredible deals and that you'll be able to purchase them for way under market value. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. The lender actually has a fiduciary duty to the previous homeowner to sell that property for fair market value. And this is because that previous homeowner actually gets any surplus from that sale after that mortgage and any property taxes or any other fees are paid. So for example, let's say there's a $300,000 mortgage on the property and the property sells for $600,000. That previous homeowner will actually get that additional $300,000 after that mortgage has been paid. Because of this, that previous homeowner actually has the right to sue that lender for damages if that property is sold for way under market value and that previous borrower or homeowner can prove that. Number 2, typically these properties are sold in a distressed state and they're sold as is, where is. What does this mean? Well, it means that any garbage or debris left on the property will likely be there upon closing. It's not going to be completely empty if it's not empty at the time of your offer. Additionally, they're not going to warrant that any of the systems, heating systems, electrical systems, water systems, or sewage systems are working. So this means that you have to go out there and do all of your due diligence as a buyer. So you're going to want to be fairly familiar with all of these systems. If you're purchasing a rural property, you're going to want to be familiar with septic and wells, or you're going to want to have an agent that is familiar with these items inside the home. You're also going to want to probably include a condition so you have an opportunity to complete your due diligence after you've agreed on the purchase price and closing date and terms of that property, so you're not wasting money before you get an accepted offer. Which brings me into point number 3, the terms of the offer. So lenders do have a duty to the previous homeowner to ensure that the property was properly marketed, it had adequate time on the market, and any buyers that were interested in offering on that property had time to offer on that property. What this results in my market is a 72-hour irrevocable. Now, I've touched on this before in other videos. What this means is that the lender or the seller will have 72 hours to decide whether or not they want to accept, reject, or counter that offer. This provides an opportunity for any other interested buyers to offer on that property, and now you're in a competitive offer situation. The lender will also have their own agreement of purchase and sale with pre-printed clauses that have been crossed out, and their own Schedule B with a selection of clauses that basically eliminate all the liability on that property. So again, everything is as is, where is, and buyer beware, and the buyer has to do their own due diligence. Oftentimes, the lender doesn't know anything about the property, and they're not going to provide any information like the age of the roof or how old the septic system is, or any information about that property that a buyer would want to know and that you could ask to a typical seller. So overall, are power of sales a good opportunity? Well, it'll depend on the buyer and the type of property. Everything is case by case. However, I will say that they're not necessarily a better opportunity than a distressed property that is sold by a regular seller rather than being sold under power of sale. That's because the regular seller will likely know more information about the property. They should have the hydro, water, and septic set up and hooked up, so you'll have the ability to test that during your inspection period, and you'll get more information. Generally, you'll just have more information on that property, and they might be a little bit more flexible on the price. Well, that's all for me. I hope that helps. I hope that clarifies a little bit of information about power of sale properties and can help you when you're navigating the market. Anyway, if you're interested in getting specific information on your situation or on a specific property, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to chat with you. And if you like this video and you're interested in what's happening in the Peterborough and Kawartha Lakes market, you might like this video I made on the cottage market shift in the Kawarthas. Click here to check it out. Take care.